As he was speaking, we found out that a federal judge declined to temporarily block Elon Musk and Doge from accessing federal data.
The legal battle over the Department of Government Efficiency, known as DOGE, has taken a significant turn. A federal judge has ruled on a case brought by 14 Democratic attorneys general who argue that Doge operates without proper oversight and that Elon Musk's involvement violates constitutional boundaries. At the heart of the lawsuit is a claim that President Trump has granted Musk an unprecedented level of influence over government operations. The attorneys general argue that this delegation of power is unconstitutional, bypassing the necessary approval of Congress. They say that Musk's role within Doge, though not officially documented, allows him to make decisions that impact federal agencies without any formal authority. The judge, Tanya Chutkan, acknowledged these concerns but refused to issue an immediate order to halt Doge's activities. In her ruling, she stated that there was no clear evidence of imminent or irreparable harm that would justify a temporary restraining order. However, she also raised serious questions about the unchecked authority of an individual who was neither elected nor formally appointed to a government role by Congress. Government lawyers have tried to downplay Musk's involvement, insisting that he is not an official employee of Doge. According to a court filing, Musk serves as a senior advisor to President Trump, but holds no formal decision-making power. The filing argues that, like other White House advisors, Musk can only provide recommendations and communicate the president's directives, rather than making independent decisions himself. Despite this official stance, Musk's public statements suggest otherwise. He has openly spoken about Doge's actions and has referred to the initiative as if he plays a key role in directing its operations. This contradiction has only fueled concerns from legal experts and government watchdogs, who argue that his level of influence is far greater than what the administration is willing to admit. One of the major concerns in this lawsuit is Doge's ability to access and manage federal personnel decisions. Attorneys general and privacy advocates worry that the agency, under Musk's unofficial guidance, could make sweeping changes to government staffing and operations without proper oversight. There are also fears about potential political motivations behind these decisions, as well as concerns about job security for federal workers. Another key issue raised in the case involves Doge's access to IRS taxpayer data. The attorneys general warn that without strict oversight, the agency could misuse sensitive financial records, echoing concerns from the 1970s when fears of government overreach led to stronger protections against political abuse of tax information. Critics worry that Doge's structure, combined with Musk's unconventional leadership role, could lead to serious privacy violations and potential misuse of government resources. In the courtroom, Judge Chutkan did not dismiss these concerns. She acknowledged that there were legitimate questions surrounding the agency's transparency and accountability. However, she stated that the lawsuit did not yet provide enough evidence to justify an emergency halt to Doge's operations. She also criticized the government's legal team for failing to provide clear answers about the agency's structure and Musk's role within it. While the White House insists that Musk does not control Doge, President Trump has publicly praised him, calling him a patriot and defending his involvement in government affairs. When asked about Musk's position, Trump responded that people could call him an employee, a consultant, or whatever they wanted, but to him, Musk was simply doing important work for the country. This lack of a clear distinction between Musk's personal influence and official authority has fueled debate about how much power he truly holds. Some argue that even if Musk is not a formal government employee, his presence in major policy discussions and public statements about Doge suggest he has more control than the administration admits. For now, Doge remains operational. The agency continues its work on government efficiency, despite the legal challenges and growing concerns about its legitimacy. But the legal battle is far from over. The lawsuit is still in its early stages, and as more information comes to light, the case against Doge and Musk's role within it may continue to evolve. Critics argue that without proper oversight, Doge could become a tool for unchecked executive power, allowing a single individual to influence government decisions without accountability. Supporters, on the other hand, believe that Doge represents a necessary push for efficiency and modernization in the federal government. As the legal process unfolds, one thing remains clear. This case has raised important questions about the balance of power in government the role of private individuals in public administration, and the need for transparency in decision-making at the highest levels. What happens next could have significant implications for the future of government oversight and the way federal agencies operate in the years to come. The growing controversy surrounding DOGE is not just about legality, it is also about power and influence. At the center of the debate is the question of who truly controls the agency and how much authority Musk wields over its operations. When DOGE was first introduced, it was framed as a private sector-led initiative aimed at improving government efficiency. However, shortly after taking office, Trump transformed it into a government entity by absorbing the United States Digital Service and placing it under the executive office of the president. This shift from an external advisory group to an official government body has fueled concerns over accountability. Unlike traditional agencies, which are created by Congress and subject to legislative oversight, DOGE operates under the executive branch with little transparency. Critics argue that this structure allows Trump and Musk to push through changes without the same level of scrutiny applied to other federal agencies. Adding to the confusion is the lack of a clear leadership structure within DOGE. While the White House claims Musk is merely an advisor, his public statements suggest he has a direct hand in decision-making. He has spoken about canceling government contracts, directing federal agencies, and implementing reforms, all of which indicate a level of authority beyond that of a typical advisor. Trump's own comments have not helped clarify the situation. By publicly praising Musk and dismissing concerns over his role, the president has only deepened suspicions about the true nature of their working relationship. For many, this raises serious questions about the extent to which one unelected individual can influence government operations. Beyond the legal challenges, there is a broader political battle over the future of DOGE. Some Republican lawmakers see the agency as a necessary step toward cutting wasteful spending and streamlining government functions. However, Democratic officials and government watchdogs argue that the lack of oversight and transparency poses a significant risk. If Musk is effectively running parts of the government without formal appointment or accountability, what precedent does this set for the future? The uncertainty surrounding DOGE has sparked debates across Washington and beyond. With court cases pending and further legal scrutiny expected, the agency's fate remains uncertain. What is clear is that this battle is about more than just DOGE. It is about the balance of power, the limits of executive authority, and the role of private individuals in shaping public policy. As investigations continue and legal battles unfold, the American public will be watching closely to see how this unprecedented situation develops. As the public and lawmakers debate the future of DOGE, another critical issue looms: the agency's access to sensitive taxpayer data and government resources. Privacy advocates have sounded the alarm, warning that allowing a largely unregulated entity to handle such information poses significant risks. Without clear boundaries, there is concern that data could be misused for political or corporate gain. One of the central concerns is the potential for DOGE to access IRS taxpayer records. Legal safeguards have been in place since the 1970s to prevent the misuse of tax information, but critics worry that DOGE's structure, combined with Musk's unofficial yet highly influential role, could bypass these protections. They argue that if government efficiency is being prioritized over privacy, the door could open for serious abuses of power. In response to these concerns, government officials have insisted that DOGE has no direct authority over taxpayer data. They claim that all actions must go through standard legal procedures, and that any changes to data access policies would require congressional approval. However, watchdog groups argue that the lack of transparency surrounding DOGE makes it difficult to verify these claims. Supporters of DOGE see things differently. They argue that the agency is doing necessary work to streamline outdated government processes, reduce bureaucratic inefficiencies, and make agencies more accountable. Musk himself has stated that DOGE is committed to transparency, despite concerns over its operations. However, critics point out that even basic information about the agency's decision-making structure remains unclear. Another major issue is DOGE's role in federal staffing decisions. Reports indicate that Musk and his team have pushed for sweeping changes in government hiring and contract management, raising concerns that key personnel decisions could be made without proper oversight. While some see this as an effort to bring efficiency to government operations, others see it as a dangerous overreach by an unelected figure with no formal accountability. As court battles continue, one thing remains clear. DOGE represents a significant shift in the way government functions. Whether it is ultimately viewed as a necessary reform effort or an example of unchecked executive power will depend on the outcomes of ongoing legal and political challenges. The implications go far beyond DOGE itself. If an entity with vague authority and little oversight can operate at such a high level of government, it could set a precedent for future administrations to bypass traditional structures of accountability. The fight over DOGE is not just about one agency. It is about the future of executive power and the role of private individuals in shaping public policy. With the legal and political battles far from over, the country is watching closely. Will DOGE continue to expand its influence, or will it face stricter regulations? As investigations continue, the answers to these questions will have lasting consequences for governance, transparency, and the balance of power in Washington. The controversy surrounding DOGE has not only sparked legal battles but has also fueled intense political and public debate. The reactions have been sharply divided, with strong opinions on both sides. Some see DOGE as a revolutionary approach to improving government efficiency, while others view it as a dangerous expansion of executive power with little oversight. Media coverage has played a significant role in shaping public perception. Conservative outlets have largely praised the initiative, portraying it as a much-needed overhaul of outdated government systems. They argue that DOGE is cutting through bureaucracy and that Elon Musk's involvement brings innovation and expertise that traditional government structures lack. On the other hand, more liberal-leaning media outlets have raised alarms about the agency's lack of transparency, Musk's unclear role, and the potential risks of allowing a private individual to wield so much influence over public policy. Beyond the media, lawmakers remain deeply divided. Many Republican officials have embraced DOGE, describing it as a key component of President Trump's broader efforts to streamline government spending and reduce inefficiencies. Some have even called for the model to be expanded to other areas of the federal government, arguing that outside experts like Musk can bring fresh perspectives to outdated bureaucratic systems. However, Democratic lawmakers and privacy advocates are pushing back hard. They argue that DOGE's structure creates a dangerous precedent, one where executive power can be expanded without congressional oversight. Some have introduced bills seeking to impose stricter regulations on agencies like DOGE, requiring greater transparency, oversight, and clearer definitions of authority. Others have called for congressional hearings to investigate the agency's operations, Musk's role, and whether any laws have been broken in its formation. Public opinion is just as divided. Supporters of DOGE see it as a necessary step toward modernizing government, eliminating waste, and leveraging private sector expertise to improve public services. They believe Musk's involvement is a positive force helping to push much-needed reforms in an inefficient system. Opponents, however, worry about the long-term consequences. They question whether DOGE is truly about government efficiency or if it represents a shift toward an unchecked executive branch that operates outside the traditional legal and ethical constraints of public administration. Many argue that even if Musk's intentions are positive, the precedent being set could allow future administrations to use similar models for more controversial purposes. The biggest question remains: what happens next? Legal challenges are still ongoing, and the courts have yet to make a final determination on whether DOGE's structure and Musk's involvement are constitutional. If DOGE is allowed to continue operating without significant reforms, it could signal a new era of governance, where private individuals and external entities wield greater influence over public affairs. If, however, the courts or Congress step in to restrict DOGE's operations, it could reaffirm the importance of legislative oversight and reinforce the traditional boundaries between public and private sector roles in government. As these debates unfold, the future of DOGE remains uncertain. What is clear is that its creation has ignited a nationwide discussion about the role of private industry in government, the limits of executive power, and the need for transparency in decision-making. The outcome of this battle will not only determine the fate of DOGE, but could also shape the way the U.S. government operates for years to come.